Thank you so much, Jim, and hi to everyone. This is How to Publicize Your User Group. And yes, I've been involved in user groups for 25 years. Our club celebrates our 25th birthday this May, and it's been a fun time and a huge learning experience. So this is a question for you. How is your user group like the CIA? Because you have absolutely no way on your website to contact anyone. I visit probably more computer club websites than the average person, and sometimes it's very difficult to find information out about the group. The advisors were asked to please contact the groups in their region who hadn't yet paid their dues, and this is one advisor's story. He said on one of his groups he had to Google the officers and then decide which person belonged to the user group, because when you do Google somebody's name, many people have the same name, and then he had to send them an email via Meetup. And I can't imagine, and nor can he, just a casual user who maybe wanted to visit the club, doing so if they had to go through that to find out information. So, does your website tell you who you are and what you do? Can people tell from just reading the first page, your home page, a little bit about you? And can they understand that they're going to learn about technology if they attend your meetings? Hank Feinberg had a very good article on this in the Q4 reports. If you haven't had an opportunity to read that, it's online, apcug.net under websites. But that's the Q4, and it was a Marketing 101 article. So I challenge everybody who's listening to this to please look at your group's website with the eyes of a prospective member or visitor. Oftentimes when I look at them, I think, well, this makes total sense to the members. They're put together for the members. But aren't we trying to use our websites to recruit new people? And if you don't have the information that's needed, you're not going to get those new people from your website. So, on the first page, or at least within one click, and I cannot tell you how many times I have to drill down several pages to find this information, but do you have complete meeting location and address, including the zip code? I'm just passing through your town, and you have several zip codes, and I have really no idea where anything is. Zip code helps. I know you guys know your zip codes, but I don't. Do you have at least your meeting day and time? Don't necessarily have to have the topic, because a lot of ours are TBAs, but at least the meeting day and time, and map or directions to the meeting, which is easy to do with pointing to your location on a Google map. I have that plus written instructions on getting off the 14 freeway or the 5 freeway, which is on either side of my valley. How about your contact information? So many websites no longer have any way to contact anybody, or they just have a fill-in form, and almost every single time I have completed one of those forms, I've never heard back from anybody. So how about president @ or some people even do @ and ; The Los Angeles Computer Society, and I have noticed other groups, have their addresses as a graphic, or just plain old ordinary user group name @. So think about at least putting something like that as a way to contact your officers. I don't think that we need to put our first and last names of our officers. I'd rather see the office, and then if you're lucky enough to get somebody new in an office, they can just take over the account, change the password, and it's president @ editor @ whatever. Old-fashioned phone number. There's still people out there that like to pick up the phone and call. So how about getting a Google Voice? You can even pick your own number. And my message sounds the exact same on our Google Voice as it did when we used to have a landline phone for the computer club. The message comes through as an email at my Gmail account that is affiliated with the Google Voice. So think about that. You need to cross-advertise if possible. Do you have other user groups in your area? So why don't you have other technology groups or state? Jim's is Ohio's tech groups list, and help advertise the other groups in other cities. I'm in your city, but you don't have a meeting when I'm there, but hey, I'm close to Long Beach, and they have a meeting tomorrow night, and I could go down to the Long Beach group and visit them. They can find that out from my website. I have the user group names with a link to their website and a few words about the group. If just for the heck of it, I Google, say, the Long Beach Computer Club, not only does their website come up, mine does also. So I'm getting a little bit more bang for my buck for that page because my website appears in the Google search too. This is reaching out to your community. Does your city website have a calendar? Do they have a list of organizations with a link? Do you have other community websites with calendars? My answer for my community, which is a valley 2 valleys north of Los Angeles, is yes. And the great thing about the city website is that once I fill in the information, I can call it a recurring event with just day, time, location, and a link to our website for the meeting information, and I only have to type the information in once and say, hey, recurring, second Wednesday of the month, boom, I've got it for a year. We have several different communities in my valley. Many of them have community websites. They all seem to have calendars too, so I do the same thing there. Again, you think, oh Lord, I'm going to have to take all this time to do it, but once you put it in, recurring event, you type once, you're good for 12 months. Do you have a business expo or a home and garden show, a health fair at the senior center? You name it, what you have in your community. If you're a nonprofit, you usually can have a table for free. If you have a couple of people, we'll help staff it. You have some instant PR to a different group of people than we normally talk to, but everybody's got a computer these days, or one or two of the eyes, and maybe they're looking for some help even though they're at the garden show figuring out what kind of flowers to put in their backyard. I put together a generic presentation on security, since that seems to be a hot topic for everybody, and I've given it to our local Rotary Club and the Kiwanis. So I would have something like that put together at the drop of a hat in case somebody says, could you come to the group and give a presentation? And of course there was quite a bit about my computer club, when we meet, some meeting topics we had had in the past, etc. And everybody was invited, of course, to attend our meeting. Or you can call them. People are always looking for speakers. How about having a membership recruiting meeting? I see reading newsletters and websites. Many groups do this across the U.S. They have mini presentations, a Q&A. Of course, they have a Get to Know Their Club PowerPoint presentation and the ever-popular refreshments that are also necessary. The Temecula Valley Computer User Group did this. They did not meet at the library, but that's where they had their Getting to Know the Temecula Valley Computer User Group presentation. It was a different venue for them. Glendora's Computer Club has also done this. Those are just two that I know of, but I know there's other groups that have done it across the U.S. How about a free to the public presentation at an alternate location? Back in the day when WordPerfect was about, we used to have them every September to kick off school, and we had it at the library one year, and our welcome table was right at the door, and we laughed afterwards because we thought people felt they had to join the group in order to see the presentation, and we got about 20 new members right off the bat. Some of those people are still members, and you know how long it's been since WordPerfect has been launching anything. Or you might want to sponsor an officer from a local police department to talk about identity theft. What you're looking for in your alternate location is it's just not another user group meeting. It's something special. I happen to teach adult education classes, and they are a wonderful place to find people who want to know what's next. My students say, I've taken all your classes, what's next? Hey, why don't you come to the computer club? What we do is education. We're educating anybody who comes to our meetings about something new in technology, a new piece of hardware. We're keeping them up to date on security. We're letting them in on what's the cloud. And this is just the next step up beyond adult ed classes. So I got this idea from the Kern group in Bakersfield, and it's a free ticket to come to one of my meetings. And it always gets a laugh because it's a free ticket to something that's already free. And I get their name and their email address, which gives me their email address for life, so to speak. So each month they get a meeting announcement. They get a free door prize raffle ticket in exchange. And on the back, courtesy of Letterman, I have the 10 reasons why they should join my computer club. How about having an open house at your meeting location? And this is in somebody's website. They said staff with friendly people, no curmudgeons. You could have 10 to 15-minute mini presentations, a sample newsletter, application, brochure, the ever-popular refreshments, and some door prizes. Good way to get, again, different people to come in that will come to just a regular meeting. This is something different. So your newspaper, do you know what their deadline is? Do you know how they want to receive it? Right now, it's probably no way other than email. But when do they want to receive it? I always send mine in the dead of night, so it's in their inbox in the morning. They tell me they would rather it not be sent, that they get it in the afternoon when they're on deadline, because oftentimes they don't pay any attention to it and it gets buried. If you get some PR in the newspaper, please send them a thank you for publicizing your event. Our newspaper is a small local one, and get to know them. Go down, meet and greet, take them some cookies. Everybody loves to eat and everybody loves cookies. Just go make nice with them. If they happen to have a tech columnist, again, get to know him or her. Make them an honorary member of your club. Invite them to a meeting to just see what you do. And then later on, of course, you can ask them to speak. But that shouldn't be your major purpose. The purpose is to get to know them so they're comfortable with knowing who you are. And again, they can say, hey, we've got a computer club in town. You really should be putting their meeting announcements in the newspaper. Several groups across the country have PC Tuneups. It's open to members and guests, and they get their computers tuned up at a nominal charge. Of course, they have, waivers of liability and all that good kind of stuff that they sign. The Cajun Clickers in Louisiana have one about every 3 months. The Business and Professional Group, I believe it's in Connecticut. They occasionally have one. We have a couple of groups here in Southern California who do one every week for their members. And what a way to keep your members. Brochures and meeting flyers, we all know we can't take them to Best Buy or Office Max or Staples and leave them places like that. But how many privately owned computer stores do you have in your area? Or tech repair people? I have quite a few up here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Los Angeles Computer Society has a retired IBMer who is their resident, tech person, and he will fix any club member's computer for free. And I can't tell you how many members they get because somebody talks to him and he'll say, yes, I'll work on your computer. You need to join the society. And they do. And some of them don't ever come to a meeting, but some of them do, so it is new blood. Tuneup also has a favorite tech person. He talks about their computer club as well as my computer club on his website. And when he gets customers in, depending upon if they're coming from the San Fernando Valley, he tells them about Tuneup. If they're coming from my area, he tells them about my club. Don't forget camera stores. Oftentimes we think technology, computer repair places. Don't forget your camera stores. Important that they get brochures or meeting flyers. And of course the libraries, the senior centers, and I'm sure you can think of a whole heck of a lot more than is even on this list. But what you need to do is share the work, because you're thinking, oh Lord, I'm going to have to drive all around town to these places. What the program chair, again from the Los Angeles Computer Society, does is after he makes up the flyer, he has several people in his group who are willing to take copies of the flyer to their local library, their camera store that they go to all the time, their particular senior center, and so he emails them the flyer, they print it out, and then it's a natural thing for them to go to their local tech store or whatever. And that's their volunteer job for the society. Again, share the load. One person, and this will never get done. Do you happen to have a technology call-in show in your area? Of course, we have several in the LA County, Ventura County area. Ask your members. Call in. Ask a question. And don't forget to say you're a member of the blah blah user group. Educate the person that is doing the call-in show, and everybody that is listening thinks, computer club, user group, I'm a member of the Santa Clarita Valley Computer Club. Can't miss that. There's only one Santa Clarita Valley, so they'd know where we're located. Do you happen to have some group business cards? Very easy to create. The ever-popular meeting location and contact info. If you have special interest groups, you could put that on the back. Include your website, that phone number that you're all going to go out and get, and voila, you have a computer club business card good to go. Ask your members, if I give you some of these cards, will you hand them out to people as you're talking to them? Just don't automatically give them to everybody, because you got people who never talk to anybody when they're in stores. I do. If I'm at any of the big box stores, or especially at Fry's, somebody will be in the security software aisle, and they'll be looking at a program that we know isn't one of the really good ones, and I'll step up and say, hi, I'm the president of the blah 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 club. The one that we think is really good is, and oh gee, here's information about our meeting. Love to have you stop by. The other thing you should do is get to know the tech people at all your big box stores. Can't really do that at Best Buy, but you sure can at Office Depot, Office Max, and Staples. I'm on a first name basis with all of them. They know if they have people who need to take classes, I teach adult ed, so they can refer to that. But they also know I'm the president of the computer club. So if they're talking with somebody, they can say, hey, do you know there's a computer club in the area? Here's the name of it. You can Google it and find out when they meet, etc. And if I didn't take the time to chat with all of them, they wouldn't have any idea about who we are, because they're all young people that are probably not going to be caught dead going to a computer club. But if they get somebody who they think might be interested, they refer, which is free advertising for me. And since I'm in the stores anyway, it doesn't take me much time to get to know them when I just go introduce myself and tell them a little bit about the computer club. Here's a sample newsletter. I created a sample newsletter. It's only 4 pages, 2 pages back to back. It's got, of course, all your contact information and all that good stuff. And it has a few generic tips and tricks. Maybe you'd want to include a security article or an article about the cloud or some other things, because almost all of us have electronic newsletters. I send the PDF out to my members. I do print a few copies to give to guests, but if you don't do that, you could have a sample newsletter that you could give out, and it's not going to cost that much for 2 pages back to back and stapled. But it's something to give them to remind them of who you are. And here's the old-fashioned snail mail. It's just like the phone. People still like to get mail. And the United States Postal Service has every door direct mail. And you can decide on a zip code, a letter carrier's route. You can customize the delivery any way you want to. And you can say, please deliver to houses. I do not want it to go to any businesses. If you do have apartments in the area that you choose, each unit gets one, and you receive them in the mail. It's those nice slicks that you get advertising things. You do not need a postage permit, so you don't need to have a nonprofit. If you are nonprofit, it's less to mail than groups that are for-profit, so to speak. You don't need any names. You don't need any addresses. These are the 3 sizes. You can design your own. They have help for that if you need it. You get it printed. You take it down to the post office after you've chosen where exactly you want to go, and off it goes. And people receive them in their mailbox. And the other thing I thought of as I was putting my junk mail in the recycle bin this morning was the value pack envelopes we get with the information about restaurants and businesses, carpet cleaning, the ever popular duct cleaning that's popular now. You might want to check with them and see how much it costs to just put a single-sided one in. Information about your group. Mine only comes to the Santa Clarita Valley up here. I have no clue how much it costs, but it's just another avenue, although we usually don't like to spend money on any of this. Oh, it's all social media now, and sometimes it's kicking and dragging to get our members to get into the modern world, but does your group have a presence? Of course, APCUG does. And if you happen to have a Facebook, a Twitter, or a LinkedIn account, would you please get in touch with social media at apcug.org and let them know so we can link to your page. Greater Cleveland has one. Jim's really good about everything. Greater Cleveland has all of these things, and he does a wonderful job with them. Vancouver, Betty's group has a Facebook page. Tampa Bay Computer Society, Greg West's Sarnia Computer User Group has one. Lots more out there, but I just chose these for give you an idea, if you don't have one, of what they have on their Facebook page. There's absolutely no reason to reinvent the wheel. If somebody has already got one that looks good, Jim always says, Judy, take a look at my website. You see what you like, it's yours. He shares with anybody, and user groups are that way. We share what we have. So if you're thinking about a Facebook page, check these out and see what they look like. As Jim Glass from the Glendora Group says, Judy, you're not plagiarizing, you're doing research. I like that. The Philadelphia Area Computer Society and the Amateur Computer Club of New Jersey are among the groups that are on Twitter. Ask your members, do you have a personal Facebook or Twitter account? If they say they do, We ask them, will you please share our meeting information? Maybe they've never thought about it before. But it would be very nice if they would just put a little blurb in and send it out to all of their contact people. LinkedIn, of course, is business-oriented, but it's a social networking site. User groups and computer clubs, we're running a business, and I can see some suspects right there. There's Greg West with his headphones on, Bob Vance with his baseball hat, Bill James always looks so nice dressed in his suit, and to the left of him is Dave Gerber, and below Dave is Babji from Avast. But the Cajun Clickers and the Houston Area League of HAL PC, they're both on LinkedIn. Check them out. Meetup does cost money. All the rest of that stuff is free. So here are the prices for Meetup. Many user groups are publicizing their meetings through Meetup. If you wanted to try it, you could try it for 3 months, $45 to see if you got any interest. You don't need to get 6 months worth. I think a 3-month try would be good. And this is who we are. Neighbors getting together. We're computer club people or technology people getting together to learn something, do something, and share something. That kind of sums up what we do at our meetings. And you can take a look at the Danbury Computer Society or the Central Florida Computer Society Meetup accounts to see the kinds of information that they are putting out to the world. Blogs are free, and it's a website on which an individual or group of users record opinions on a regular basis. That's kind of the hang-up. We start something like this, and the regular basis kind of becomes a very irregular basis. But it's a good thought. Most of the blogs I found were via Google's Blogger, also known as Blogspot. And of course, it's free. The Bowling Green Group has one. They have everything but the kitchen sink on their blog. Very, very informative. Lorain County Computer Club in Ohio has a blog. And Steve Costello, he's with the Boca Raton and Broward personal groups, computer groups in Florida. He has a personal blog, and his contains information about technology, computers, and user groups. He put information about the Virtual Technology Conference on his blog. So ask your members, do you have a personal blog? If they do, would they be so kind as to mention your meetings? They might not even think about doing this. People with Facebook and Twitter accounts might not think, aha, I should put a little bit, this is what our next meeting is going to be. So give them a nudge. Even vendors, of course, have blogs. If you have had Bob G. from Avast give a presentation to your group, he has taken pictures. He writes a little blurb about each presentation he gives, puts a link to your group's website, and posts pictures. He started doing this a couple of years ago when I set up a tour for him in Southern California, and he took pictures of he and his wife flying in, and then a few pictures at each meeting. And over time, he has really done a wonderful job on this. So he is publicizing us, and I hope if he gives a presentation to your group, you check out his blog and tell him thank you so very much for doing this. He is one of these really good vendors who is pro user groups, very enthusiastic about them. So we always need to say thank you. WordPress is another blog, but I notice a lot of our clubs are starting to have WordPress websites. 3 of them that I found very easily were the Lancaster Area Computer Club, Crystal River, and North Texas. If you're looking for some new way to do a website, you might check out these groups and others as you Google them and see how they're using WordPress to publicize their groups via their website. At your meeting, you might want to think of having a pre-meeting PowerPoint presentation. Not only is it informative for your guests, it reminds your members the bang they got for their buck that they pay every year, no matter what your dues are. You have current meeting information, past meeting information. It's going to be there. If you have SIGs, a little bit of information about them. Officers with their pictures, so guests can say, oh, there's the president, there's the editor, blah, blah, blah. If you happen to have a PIG SIG, of course you're going to mention that. Pikes Peak has a breakfast every month on a Saturday. If they had one of these, they would definitely, they're called the Digerati. And maybe a couple free tech cartoons to give them a few laughs. But this is a PowerPoint show, and it is just running continuously. And again, the members are going, oh yeah, I remember that presentation we had. Oh yeah, they get the newsletter, they know you have these SIGs, but all of a sudden they see it in big type up on the screen. And the visitors go, PIG SIG? What is a PIG SIG? Sounds interesting. Think I'll go. And again, once you create this, the only thing you need to add is your current meeting information. And this is courtesy of the Greater Cleveland Group. At your meetings, do your guests complete something that enables you to get their information? I have a little quarter-page form that has their name and their email address, which of course gives me their email address for life then. But I ask, what are your interests? What are you looking for? Kind of gives me ideas for meetings. And then I ask a very important question, where did you hear about us? From a member, my adult ed class, the newspaper, wherever you advertise your meeting, that way you know what you need or who you need to target. With your members, you can have a new member contest. Many groups have them. You bring in 3 members and we give you a flash drive. You bring in, for every member you bring in, we give you a month's credit on your dues, and so on. So that way you can bring your members into recruiting people and they're getting something for it. And we all know flash drives are relatively very inexpensive these days. So again, there's many groups out there that have promotions like that to get their members to bring new people in. And when my guests complete that form, they give me the form, they get a free door prize ticket. We have a raffle. So you buy raffle tickets, they get a free one. And they either get a copy of my newsletter, if I have printed them out, or the sample newsletter, an application, and they're tucked inside a brochure. They may throw that application away, but by golly, they don't have to ask for one. I don't get an email from them saying, I'm going to join your group. Will you send me an application? And I say, well, it's on the website. And I do hope you all have how to join your group on your website with an application that they can fill out. But they have it in their hand. A couple of months ago, I decided I wanted to bring up my group members' contact information current. So I handed out applications and said, would you please, fill out this. I just want to make sure I have the correct information. I had 3 people join. I don't know if they thought, by golly, this is right here. They filled that sucker out and handed me their $30, and I thought it was very nice of them to do that. It was their first meeting. Again, they didn't have to ask for it. It was given to them. These are my resources. Greater Cleveland, the PowerPoint presentation before the meeting. The Under the Computer Hood user group down in San Diego has also decided to do this. I've preached the Greater Cleveland PowerPoint show before the meeting for years and years and years, ever since I saw it at Comdex and our annual APCUG meeting one time at a presentation. And it's always exciting when I find people pay attention. and the Temecula Valley groups and the Glendora's Computer Club. Temecula Valley used pictures of what they do. Glendora's Computer Club PR PowerPoint was all wonderful cartoons. And then my free admission ticket. So, that's it. If you were sitting in front of me, I would say, do you have any questions? And I bet you all have ideas on how you publicize your group that I didn't include. Oh, thank you, Mr. Costello, with where your blog is. Suggestions needed to attract younger members. You might ask the local robotics club. I happen to be making canvas bumpers for my high school grandson's robotics club. This will be my third day this Saturday. Ask if they will come and give a presentation on their robots that they are putting together and bring some of them. Junior highs and high schools usually have robotics clubs. Cheryl Wester, the advisor for California, is a math teacher at Centennial High in Riverside area, and they have a technology group. She had them give a presentation to her club. They are probably going to be giving a presentation on the apps that they are creating for phones. They're doing this in high school at Southwest. And so reach out to something like that for the younger people. Anything on the iPads, iPhones, smartphones, gadgets. Many clubs that belong to APCUG are starting iCIGs and having presentations. Other ones say our members aren't interested. And I mean, I have a Windows 8 computer. There's only one member in my group that's interested in Windows 8. But I want them to know we are using the current technology, and they will become dragging and screaming into the Windows 8 arena sooner or later. But the eyes are one way to get, maybe the younger type people in, not the young, but the 50-year-olds or something like that. Licking County says their door prizes are paid for from Staples Rewards, Inc. I get lots of my door prizes from that also. The members bring in used cartridges. It doesn't make any difference if they're original cartridges or refills. Inkjet, laser, and the club gets money for that. And each month you get a free, you get a chit that says how much you have in free money. And for the Kindle e-reader that Southwest gave away at the 2012 conference, it was paid for except for $11 with ink cartridges that people had given me specifically for that. Fred Cagle, I don't know which group, has a recession special of $15 for 2013 for new members. Excellent idea. The Northeast Ohio Computer Club has a Christmas in July special where membership was free for a year. They figured if they got the members in and they enjoyed what they were doing, they would rejoin the following year. And it was worth the thing. But theirs was Christmas in July, which was really cute. BCUG. Business. Are you the business professional people? Okay, Diane from Icon in New York, thank you, Fred, does the adjusted. We used to do that, and it was so confusing. And then some of the people wanted to have the dues due January 1st. I prefer the money coming in during the year. We're $30 for regular people and $27 for seniors, and we have a family membership also. We used to have a student membership, but we didn't get any students. Well, Jim, you've got a museum in your area that you're going to. The TUGNet group takes field trips. They've been to the Van Nuys Airport. They've been to all kinds of different places that use technology. It's not a meeting. It's just an alternate. Let's get together, have lunch, and go visit something about technology. They've been to JPL, you name it. Yes. There's actually a group in Maine, the Kennebec group in Maine. They take a tech field trip. I saw somebody mention the Micro Center. You're very lucky that they let you put your flyers up there. Nobody else does. And they get together every once in a while, and they go on a field trip to another city where they have a large, like Fry's or Micro Center, and they go shopping and they do lunch, and yes, they have a tech field trip. My website is S as in Sam, C Charlie, V Victor, PCG.org. We used to be the Santa Clarita Valley PC user group, and then I finally decided there wasn't anybody in the whole free world who knew what a user group was. So I changed it to Computer Club. Any other questions? Ooh. Oh. Fred's group has a Cyber Quickie workshop that meets at a local Microsoft store. If you have a Microsoft store in your area, it's a wonderful place to have your general meeting or one of your SIG meetings. They will be more than happy to host you. They will also have your general meeting. I'm on the list for the San Diego Microsoft store because that's where Southwest has been until this year. And they're always inviting me to things, and I send them to the San Diego groups. And under the computer user group had food, drink, got door prizes. Their president won a full Office 2010 suite. And they were hosted to a Windows 8 and Surface tablet presentation. So make friends with your Microsoft store and try to make friends with your Apple store. And again, at Southwest, they let us take a tour of the local Apple store, and he found out that user group people were really nice, and he was hoping we would come back again this year. Oh, there's Bob. Bob is plugging the Ohio APCUG co-sponsored regional conference. If you can go, please attend. It's always nice to see people face to face. And Jim's comment is outstanding. Think outside the box. Don't be afraid to try new things. You think car stereos, what does this have to do with it? We had a presentation, a meal presentation on that down at Southwest, and I looked at the audience, and they were just hanging on every word that man had to say. And it was very, very interesting, and he brought in a lot about technology. Oh, and Greg West is promoting himself at the Ohio conference. He'll be talking about the iPad. If you have not had the opportunity to use our Speakers Bureau in case you need somebody for a presentation, the list is being updated. I am including at least 5 or 6 new presenters with 15 plus new presentations. The battery store. Thank you, Paul, for reminding me. If you have a battery store, I have sat through one of those. Batteries, ridiculous. No, it was extremely informative. Again, that's outside the box. Everybody's got batteries in their cameras. We have batteries in our laptops and our desktops, etc. And there's the link to the Speakers Bureau, but give us a couple of weeks and it will be totally revised with a whole bunch of new presentations. And I see Chris Gould is there, and they're with the Geeks on Tour, and they're also part of the Speakers Bureau. If you have not had one of their presentations, you should. You are in for a really huge treat. Okay, Greg, local hobby fest. Computer shows in Southern California have for all intents and purposes gone away, which is why I didn't include that. Because I don't know how many there are. I know there's a large one in Trenton. What is it? The Trenton Computer Fest. And the Goulds also gave a very well-received presentation at Southwest in June. I thank them for that. Okay? So again, like Jim said, think out of the box. All-encompassing hobby fest. The Sarnia group is the only one with computers. It's a hobby. The Geeks on Tour will be at Sam Wexler's Club Med conference the end of the month in Florida. Again, check out the Speakers Bureau. You'll find them listed there. If they happen to be touring in your area, you could possibly snag them for a conference. Marie's talking about the computer conference in Arizona. That's where APCUG will have its annual meeting. That is in April. I believe it's the first weekend in April. It's after Easter. Greg just put up the Goulds blog. But just Google Geeks on Tour and you will find them. Back over to Mr. Evans.
All right, Judy, we want to thank you.